Gettin geek, gettin geek, gettin geek with Dwayne Allen. Gettin geek, gettin geek, gettin geek with Dwayne Allen.
All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. You're listening, watching, Gettin Geeked with your boy, Danny Allen. That's me, your host. Episode 25, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, dude. Lots of news. Oh, dude, it's on fire over at Warner Brothers right now. We'll talk about it. Got some horror news. Lots of news. Dwayne Johnson. Wow. Patty Jenkins. Wow. Just a lot. I'm trying to think of where to begin. Most of this podcast is going to be dedicated to Warner Brothers, DC, and the ever-growing story of the DC universe, and whether or not they're going to ever have a plan. And when all things go according to plan, James Gunn came down from Aspen with his boy Peter Safran with the DC Bible. Yes. Let's not... I'm not trying to put the cart before the horse, so let's just get some quick news out of the way. Coming up, first topic on today's podcast. The Mummy 4? Brendan Fraser, he likes to correct people now. Brendan Fraser has stated he's down to do a Mummy movie, another one. Why not? He has said numerous times, he's like, listen, the fans want it. I would be down. There's nothing official going on. And it's ripe for a sequel. He's back in this acting thing, right? He's nominated for The Whale in multiple award ceremonies, possibly for the Oscars. He has a Renaissance or Brendan-essence or Fraser-essence, whatever you want to call it. Our boy is back. Brendan Fraser is back. So yeah, the logical question would be, hey bruh, are you up for another Mummy movie? And he said, yeah, the last Mummy movie wasn't that fun, as lacking the fun element. He's talking about Tom Cruise's Reboot. So I would totally be interested to see a fourth Mummy movie. Got to bring back Rachel Weisz though. And rumor is, Jeff Snyder, he's a known scooper / journalist. Jeff Snyder reported today, the 8th of December, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is reportedly producing and financing the Mummy 4. And he's also going to return as the Scorpion King. And Jeff Snyder, he doesn't drop scoops for no reason. This is what he does for a living. And he has a very solid track record. And if he's hearing that The Rock is potentially developing and financing the Mummy 4, I'm inclined to believe it. Where would you go with a Mummy Part 4 at this point? Imhotep is dead. They went to China for the third installment. You have to bring things back full circle. If we learned anything from Scream 4, you got to bring it all back to where it began. And that would be, not with Imhotep necessarily, but with the Scorpion King. You heard it here. I do think it's a good idea to bring back the Scorpion King as potentially the villain. Dwayne Johnson coming back to get a better rendition of the Scorpion King. He did the spin-off movie, which was fantastic. But everybody knows the CGI in The Mummy 2 is terrible. So I would want Imhotep to come back as well. Just to bring everything back full circle. You could find a way to bring him back from the dead again. There's got to be a way. So, yes, what do you think about this news? Dwayne Johnson financing The Mummy Part 4 with Brendan Fraser. Possibly the rest of the cast coming back. Comment below in the comment section. Coming up next, Saw. What is it? Saw 11? 10? 11? I don't know. There's so many Saw movies. I kind of stopped watching and paying attention. Saw 8, possibly? I saw, pun intended, I saw the Chris Rock one. Spiral, it was fine. It was interesting, the detective story. It's fine. But yeah, it's confirmed. Shawnee Smith, the main chick that took over as the killer, is coming back for another Saw movie. Is she really coming back if she's always really been a part of the franchise? I mean, she was never really stranded from the franchise. I just think her character came to that logical closing point. So yeah, having her coming back, sure, I'm down. She was a highlight of this franchise, of this series. I'm not opposed to her coming back. I just think it's weird. They're probably going to. I heard it's going to be in between 1 and 2, so another prequel-ish movie sequel. Yeah, dude, just Saw for me is kind of a played out concept. Kind of over Saw. Like I said, it came down to this full arc with its story, its logical closing point for the story is you can only tell so much. That's why they're trying to tell movies in between the sequels, because there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go with it unless they do a full-on reboot. But they're always tied to this Jigsaw thing, and that's ultimately goes back to Homeboy. So yeah, man. Saw. What do you think about what's her name? Shawnee Smith coming back. You excited? Let me know in the comments. Coming up next, Jackie Chan is in the news. What's up, man? I love Jackie Chan. I love the Rush Hour movies. Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan, like the only people that ever made me want to be a cop when I was growing up. I was like, oh, that'd be cool to be a cop or a detective, right, in L.A. Then I grew up, of course, and I don't want to be a cop, so no hate towards police, but you know what I mean. So Rush Hour 4, Jackie says they're working on it. They got a script, they're hammering out the details, but they are definitely interested in doing a Rush Hour 4, and he says he wants to get it into development soon. Again, where are you going to go from here? Obviously, it's been since 2008 since we saw them together in a movie. So, yeah, you can totally tell, like, the modern day, where would they be in the modern era, which is cool. But as far as, like, who's the villain, I don't really care. I just want to see Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker come back. And I know Chris Tucker will come back because he loves Jackie Chan. He loves working with Jackie Chan. So, Rush Hour is easily, in my top franchises of, like, ranking. I need to do like a rank of like how do I rank all the franchises, like a S tier. Rush Hour is up there with like S tier, like going maybe not S, A to S. Rush Hour's there. So what do you think about Rush Hour 4? Maybe they can bring back some other characters that were involved. I don't know. I just think that if Jackie wants to do it, Chris Tucker wants to do it, do it. Do it. It's going to print money. How much money is that going to cost, like, realistically, to make a Rush Hour 4? 50 million? 20 million? Depends on how much Jackie Chan wants, how much Chris Tucker wants, because they're the biggest, probably. Because like I said, the special effects is going to be minimal because Jackie is very practical when he's, because he choreographs all of his fights, so he's a very practical artist, martial artist. So they have like explosions and stuff like that, but Rush Hour has never really been this big old bombastic kind of a thing. I need to take a look at the budgets of the last movies. It'll probably get something around what the last one did, if not a little lower, because it has been some time. But we don't know. Rush Hour 4. Let's go. Some Star Wars news coming up. Star Wars. The Acolyte. Have you guys heard about The Acolyte? It's supposedly supposed to be 100 years before The Phantom Menace. And it's going to tell the story of how the Sith infiltrated the Jedi. I talked about this a little bit last week on the podcast. Well, now we've got some set photos and some characters. Looks like it's some Jedi characters. We know they're Jedi because we've seen these Jedi in the novels, the High Republic novels. I have not read them. I've seen the cover art for them, and they look just like those Jedi. So, yeah, we have our first look at a Wookiee Jedi in his robes, man. This is like crazy. I mean, we've seen Wookiee Jedi before, but this is live action Wookiee Jedi. I don't think we've ever gotten that ever. So this is why it was like my second most anticipated show, Ahsoka being the first one. I cannot wait for this. That's my homie already. I don't know what their name is, but I'm down. Wookiee Jedi, let's go. He's gonna save the day. Watch him be a Sith Lord at the end, and he turns into a Sith, and he's one of the ones that is like, no, I'm an evil Wookiee, dude. That'd be so sick. I've seen the other character set photos. One of them's from Dathomir. That's cool, but my main draw from all these photos is the Wookiee Jedi. Sign me up. Let's go. Is this dude already in the novels? Because if he's in the novels and they're carrying over a character from the novels, let me know, and I will read that novel or listen to the audiobook, because that's how I can consume novels and comic books. I listen to the audio versions because, yeah, that's what I do. I didn't read The Cursed Child, kind of off topic. I listened to it. Coming up next. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, guys. This is why I wanted to do the podcast so bad this week. We have more DC news. Like I said in the beginning of this podcast, James Gunn came down from the mountaintops of Aspen with his boy, Peter Safran. In hand, they have a DC Bible for the next 8 to 10 years. A DC Bible of lore and canon and what they want to do with each character in the DC universe. One cohesive story between movies, television, comic books, video games. It's gonna be all connected. Oh, well, what about Wonder Woman 3? Nope. Breaking news, apparently Patty Jenkins walked away from it because she didn't want to do another pass of her own script. She got notes back from James Gunn and Peter Safran and Mike DeLuca and Abby, what's her name? My mistake, I don't know her name. The execs at Warner Brothers gave her notes on the movie. Say, hey, like, go do another Passover. She's like, no what? Nah, I'm good. I'm out. She walked away. Apparently, her version of the story didn't align with what James Gunn and Peter have to offer in the future. So she's gone. She's goner. She's already talking to Disney, guaranteed. Patty Jenkins is already on the phone. She's probably been on the phone trying to get that Rogue Squadron movie up again. She walked away from Wonder Woman 3 just a few days ago. Gal Gadot posts on her Instagram how she loves being Wonder Woman, like basically low-key pleading to her fans to hype her up on this post, because it's like, I'm going to show the studio that I have all the support. Nobody. It's crazy. This is like super wild. This is only a small part of this huge story. But most people already know Wonder Woman 3 is off. It's in this iteration, it's dead. That's what they said. Then James Gunn comes out. He's like, some of this Hollywood Reporter article is true, some of it's not true, and some of it's not true at all. They are going. This is what we are alluding to in this whole story. If you were watching this, you've already know the gist of what's happening here. James Gunn is on the brink of rebooting the DC universe. Henry Cavill doesn't have a contract. James Gunn said that a couple weeks ago on Twitter. Henry Cavill doesn't have a contract. He went on social media himself and announced that he was back as Superman. Nobody told him to do that. This is all in the Deadline article. Nobody told him to do that. The day after, James Gunn announced that he is the CEO of DC Studios. So there's two conflicting things right there. Everybody said, oh, Henry's back. He quit The Witcher. No, he quit The Witcher because the writing on The Witcher was subpar. Because it wasn't up to quality for him to stick around. He's like, this is not where I want this character to go. I'm out. So, if you don't have Henry Cavill and you don't have Gal Gadot, Even Aquaman 2 is supposedly it for Jason Momoa because he has his eyes on Lobo. They want him to do a Lobo movie, and that's his favorite character. And I've said this numerous times on this podcast. Where are these characters headed? Where are they in their arcs? What is left for them to learn as characters? There's not a lot. Not a lot. They've done what they can in these iterations. If you don't have Henry, if you don't have Jason Momoa, you don't have Gal Gadot, and Ben Affleck's out, dude, you don't have your core Justice League. You don't have your DC universe. Everything is built upon those characters, and everything else is like a web from those characters. It's a web, not like the Spider-Verse, but it's like a web. And you don't have those core pieces of that puzzle, dude. You have to reboot. Why would James Gunn want to play with everybody else's stuff? He's made it work with Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad. But even then, by the time all this happens, you could have a Peacemaker season 2, and that could be it. It could be it. Oh, well, you can keep Peacemaker, and you can keep Henry Cavill. No. A full reboot is a full reboot. Either do that or don't do it, or keep what you have. As long as they have little bits and pieces of the past, you're always going to have that small amount of fans complaining that it's not what Zack Snyder wanted to do. You're going to have this faction of people that wanted something new, and then you have this fraction of people that just like what they're given, and you're always going to be fractured. So just cut the cord, man. It's been 10 years. I've been saying this. It's been 10 years since Man of Steel came out in 2013. So we're going on 10 years now of the DC extended universe. And look where we are. One Justice League movie in theaters. Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max. I'm glad we have that. But we don't have an Endgame. We don't have an Infinity War. We don't even have we don't have a Batman movie. It's time to reboot, guys. We need to let it go. DC fans need to let it go. We need something fresh. I mean, look what's going on with Matt Reeves' Batman and the Joker. Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn in the Joker 2. This is separate, right, from the main label, granted, but they're not scared to recast. Batman, Matt Reeves. I'm gonna talk about them in the later half of this and how this can tie into a whole new Justice League. I've done this. I've said this many times. Rebirth. Oh well, I'm gonna get into it. Let's get into it. Oh well, the Batman is grounded in reality and can't have aliens. And listen, the Batman was set in year 2 of Batman's career. You think in year 10 Bruce is still going to be going through what he went through in year 2? You don't think he's going to expand the people he works with or communicates with or the knowledge of that universe? You don't think we're going to want to know what's going on in the rest of the world within the Batman's continuity? Of course we want to know. Well, it's grounded in reality. For now it is. Listen, guys. Batman is always... Well, he's dark and he doesn't work with Superman. He does, because in every iteration of the Justice League, there's Batman and Superman for the majority of it, unless it's some weird Elseworld shit. Everybody knows the Batman is the loner of the Justice League, because he is dark and brooding. His part of the world will always be dark and brooding. But that doesn't mean you can't introduce a Wonder Woman and a Superman and have that Batman interact with those characters. That's to say he can't do that is I'm not saying you're wrong, but this is like, think about it, man. By the time that James Gunn's new plan is in full swing, Aquaman 2 will be the last movie to come out, which is a year away, 2023, right? 2024. James Gunn's new plan will kick off in 2025. And by the time that happens, you can have your Peacemaker end. And then the Batman 2 will hopefully not be... Okay, so if the Batman 2 comes out the year James Gunn's new plan starts, that can be your starting point. He can be your new Batman to introduce a new Justice League movie. Because David Zaslav, he wants one Batman. He said it's not going to be 3 Batman anymore. 3's too much. What does that mean? He wants 1? He wants 2? I think he wants 1. Jeff Snyder, once again, broke some news. Apparently, James Gunn and Peter scrapped a Michael Keaton Batman movie. They scrapped it. It's not. They said no. Leave him alone. We don't need a Michael Keaton Batman movie. We don't need one. He's not in the Batgirl movie anymore. He's only going to be in the Flash. That's it. So we're cutting it off there. Michael Keaton doesn't need his own Batman movie. Apparently, they didn't want a Michael Keaton Batman movie. James Gunn's a savage. If that's true, Jeff Snyder, he's like spilling tea. They're spilling tea on the Hot Mic podcast. Straight up said, yeah, James, he burned down the Batman movie with Michael Keaton. So yeah, that just goes to show they want one universe. And yeah, you have the Joker 2 coming out, but that's going to be it. And if Matt Reeves doesn't want Robert Pattinson's Batman to continue on to start a Justice League, don't be surprised if the Batman 2 is the last one. Yeah, you have the Penguin show. They're filming it now. They could scrap that, or they can put it out for 1 season. But Matt Reeves' universe, if he's not willing to branch it out in the next 10 years, and he just wants to have 3 Batman movies, just cut it off. We need a new Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, new Aquaman. We need a fresh universe. And then Dwayne Johnson, he bullied the studio into bringing back Henry Cavill. He had to post some numbers on his Twitter because fans and some news sites were saying the Black Adam movie is going to bomb. It's not going to make money. And to have The Rock himself had to tweet about it and say, actually, we're up 50 mil. That's not good, dude. Just the fact that he even has to make that statement, that just goes to show the Warner Brothers, they're not happy with the result. 50 million profit, even if that's a profit, that's not good. And apparently he's the one that fought for Henry Cavill. And now the Rock doesn't really, he didn't bring people to the movie because he doesn't have a leg to stand on anymore with Warner Brothers. So like, dude, you wanted Henry back. You wanted your movie to be separate from Shazam. And you wanted to do it your own way. And look where we're at. So apparently Black Adam 2 is off the table. Which goes to show, dude, James Gunn is going to reboot this universe. We have to let it go, like I've said. But what does this mean for Aquaman 2? Apparently, they removed Ben Affleck's cameo from Aquaman 2, and apparently Henry Cavill shot a cameo for the Flash movie. And apparently, they yanked it from the movie. People are also suggesting, depending on how well the Flash movie does, well, that's going to determine if they keep the current cast. Well, if that's the case, why would they remove a Henry Cavill cameo from the movie? That's just going to hype up the fans even more, which would in turn, make more money. But from this Henry Cavill cameo from the Black Adam movie, it didn't make enough money, so that's crazy, right? Where are these DC fans? I seen a meme going around like, DC fans are really loud on the internet, but when it comes to going to see these movies, nobody's going. What's going on here? It's just, wow. Just every week it's something else with Henry Cavill. Wow. But to find out that he's the one that went on Instagram himself and nobody told him to say he was Superman again, dude, like, you can't do that. The day after, James Gunn's like, I'm back. I'm here. I'm the leader now of DC. And nobody has a contract. Not even Henry. So, yeah, dude. DC. Before I end this podcast, there's one more little detail. It's not really, it does have something to do with James Gunn's plan. Let's keep this going. The directors from Batgirl, apparently, they were like, oh, we're gonna meet with James Gunn and we make another movie with Warner Brothers, but of course we want it to get released actually. And do I believe that they're going to meet with James Gunn? Sure. They have no reason to say that, right? Of course they're gonna meet with James Gunn. Well, I don't think it's like, obviously it's not about the Batgirl getting released because they wrote that down on their taxes, so that's a done deal. What else could they be doing? Oh, they want to do a Batman Beyond movie. But they only want one Batman, right? Well, these are just the rumors now. This is all pure speculation. Apparently, these dudes, one of them posted on Instagram a comic book, and it's Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond. I'm going to tell you right now, I would love a Batman Beyond movie. I love Batman Beyond. But if it's with these dudes, no thank you. I'm sorry. Don't. Please don't. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's not because they flopped the Batgirl production. $90 million tax write-down. The movie apparently was shelved because it wasn't up to par. It wasn't good enough to even put out on HBO Max or in theaters. Like, this is not what we want to represent DC. And the fact that they couldn't tackle Batgirl I don't want them anywhere near Batman Beyond. And that's not even on a technical level. That's just on a creative level. They couldn't make a Batgirl movie that was good enough to get released. They shouldn't be anywhere near Batman Beyond. No. They need a Denis Villeneuve to direct a Batman Beyond, because that dude knows cinematography. He knows how to light scenes in the future, a neo future, kind of like the Blade Runner franchise kind of a thing. Nothing that these guys that directed Batgirl, Bad Boys for Life, nothing in those movies or from Bad Boys doesn't convince me. And they directed Miss Marvel. Those two things don't convince me that they could handle a Batman Beyond. I can't comment on Batgirl because I haven't seen Batgirl. But literally people working in Warner Brothers said it was so bad, there's no way this is getting released. It's like a glorified CW pilot. Take that for what it is. So yes, Batman Beyond. I would love a Batman Beyond movie, but not with these dudes. I had nothing against these guys. It's just, it is what it is. The facts are what they are. We don't have a Batgirl coming out in theaters. We don't have a Batgirl movie coming out on HBO Max. They botched it. 90 million tax write-down. That's what happened. Do you want these guys to do a Batman Beyond movie? Let me know in the comment section. I don't see it happening. I could see a Batman Beyond movie happening, just not with these guys. And to be honest, I think Batman Beyond might be towards the end of James Gunn's DC plan. Because if they do introduce a new 25-year-old Batman, or if it's Robert Pattinson, Batman Beyond, he's long ways away from being old enough to do Batman Beyond. Bruce Wayne, that is. I would prefer a Ben Affleck Batman Beyond movie set in the DC universe, but from all this stuff going on, we don't know. We don't know who's Bruce Wayne. And the fact that we don't know, and we're 10 years into this universe. Reboot. Anyways, what do you guys think about this Batman Beyond from the directors of not Batgirl? Yeah, guys, very, very DC-filled podcast today. James Gunn. We all thought he's going to be like the friend, right? oh, James Gunn, he's he's a director's director. He's friends with all these directors. Now that homeboy's the boss, and he's looking at the numbers, and he's probably asking all these actors, what do you see yourself in 10 years? He's probably sat down with these dudes. Do you see yourself as this character in 10 years? Are you going to stick around that long? And he's like, looking at him, he's like, are you? 10 more years? I doubt it. He's like, they're like, ooh, 10 years? They're like, how much is Gal wanting for Wonder Woman 3? 20 million? Yeah. James Gunn's like, how much did we lose this year? $2 billion? Reboot. Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson, the ball is in your court. You're the only Batman for the foreseeable future, my boy. Do you want to be Batman for 10 more years? I'm sure James is going to ask you. He's got to at least ask you. Because let's be honest, that's one of the big options here. Yes, we know Matt Reeves has said. I know I'm trying to end this podcast. We know what Matt Reeves have said. I want this Batman universe to just be its own thing. It's just Batman. I don't want him interacting with any superheroes. Well, the plan has changed, my boy. Matt Reeves, how much money is it going to take you to change your mind? That's what Warner Brothers is going to be asking you. Robert Pattinson, how much money is it going to take for you to stick around to do the Batman 2, 3, Justice League 1, 2, and 3? That's another 5-movie deal, my boy. How much is that going to... What's it going to take? You want some back-end deal? Like, you want some points? Want some points? Just think. Batman 2, Batman 3, Justice League 2, or 1, 2, 3. That's a 5-movie deal. That's a 5-movie deal, which is a standard contract for a superhero franchise. 5 movies. They can re-up Pattinson's contract. He could be the new Batman in a new universe. New Superman, Wonder Woman, fresh slate. We already got the spin-off shows on HBO Max coming, already interconnected like James Gunn wanted. It's already there, bruh. It's already there. What are you waiting for? Matt Reeves he's like Christopher Nolan. He's like, I don't want nobody in my universe but Batman. Dude, if Bale stuck around and was the Batman to Henry Cavill and all that was connected, because they built that shit from 2005 to 2012. You had a Batman being developed. They could have spun off that shit, Man of Steel with Henry Cavill. We'd be in a very different conversation. But due to Christopher Nolan's vision, they're putting his vision over the main DC story. That's where they fucked up. That's where they fucked up to begin with. Don't make that mistake again. Matt Reeves, change your mind, dude. Do it for us. You've been listening, watching, getting geeked with me, your host, Danny Allen. Go fuck yourselves.
Getting geeked. Getting geeked. Getting geeked with Danny Allen. Getting geeked. Getting geeked. Getting geeked with Danny Allen.